For our last project, I'd like to create an interactive PDF portfolio. So here I've got my sample up to show you guys how this will work. So let's take a look. So just like other PDFs, you can navigate this way, okay? But I can set mine up so that we can go to a full screen mode, okay? And now we don't have any of that clutter, and we've got a really nice look, okay? I've got interactive buttons that are able to help me navigate, and you'll notice I've even got a page transition where it's fading in and out, okay? So here's my catalog page. If I click on an image, it will take me right to that. If I want to, I can go back to the catalog page at any point because I've built in this navigation here, or I can navigate through this way. Okay, so this is going to be a really nice feature. Notice the background here is a very neutral color. We don't want anything that's really going to jump out and compete. Okay, so this is a nice feature. Also notice how the titles are locked down in exactly the same place. A lot of these features are not moving. This is a function of what is called a master in the page, and you'll notice here in the bottom corner my page numbers change as we're moving through here. So I've got the artwork that I created in Adobe Illustrator to be my cover page, and then this icon here, which I'm going to use as my return to the catalog page icon. Okay, so you'll need to set up at the very least something here to put somewhere on your page in a consistent place so that the viewer can get back to the catalog page if that's what they want to do. Okay, these buttons are relatively easy to do also. Okay, so let's take a look at how we can get this thing moving. So if I go to look at all my files where I'm keeping all my stuff that I've done all semester long, I like to keep things, all my projects, organized in a folder. So these are all the projects that we've done throughout the semester, and within my portfolio folder I have a links folder. Okay, this has all the good stuff that I'm going to need. It's all in one place. When you link a graphic, the computer is going to look for that in the same place every time. So a linked graphic means that you need to have the same name all the time. You need to have it in the same place all the time. So if you move your files around, it may not be able to find them. And InDesign can give you a little bit of a fit. It will say, can't find this. Where are we going to go? And you may not be able to open your document. You may be able to open the document, but you won't be able to see the missing link. Okay? So keep this in mind, that you really want to organize your stuff. So take a few minutes, set up a folder for your links, maybe in another folder to put your portfolio in, and keep everything in one place. So this is my InDesign folder, or my InDesign file. You'll notice that I have a couple different versions. It took me a while to get this just the way I wanted it, okay? And then here, this is my my interactive PDF file. Okay, so let's take a look at InDesign. Okay, so here we have the InDesign stuff, and you'll notice a lot of the same stuff, right? InDesign is mostly an assembly program in my mind. If you wanted to create a book or something with a lot of pages, this is your tool. Okay, you can do this in Illustrator, but this is a much more useful way of doing it. Okay, so here we've got all the same stuff. Okay, nothing really different here. We've got layers, right? Pages, which is a little bit different. This little icon here is my page transition. I can show you how to get to that too. Okay, you can see all of your pages here. Okay, you can also navigate them somewhere down in here, but it's outside of our screen right now, so you won't be able to see that. But you'll notice that if I click here, let's see, let's go back to another one here. These we're going to set up in a master. We're going to put this in the master, and we're also going to have our background in the master. So let's get to it and figure out how we can get this puppy moving. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is to create a new document. You can hit Control N if you want to do that, right? I love my key commands. Okay, we're going to make this a letter size page. We're going to set our units to inches. No facing pages. I like it being a landscape. I think this lends itself much more nicely to it. Bleed and slug. Is that cool? Alright, bleed is going to be the area outside of your image. So let's set that for like a 0.125, which is 1/8 of an inch basically. Okay. And that should populate out through there. A slug is an area that's going to go below your document if you wanted to have notes that would not print or something along those lines. We don't need that. Okay, so let's just create. Alright, so now we've got our image. This line here is our bleed. Okay, this inside here is our safe area. Okay, we don't want to go too much outside of that. Alright. In our pages, you'll notice that we have, right now it says A, Master A applied. So let's go now. Now, believe it or not, we are in the master. It's hard to see that, but it will make sense once we get some more stuff in here. So the first thing we need to do is to give our master a background. Okay. So if I wanted to create a rectangle, we have a rectangle tool, very similar to what we have in our other programs. The difference between these two rectangle tools is this one is what you're going to place your links in. It's going to be a window that will contain your fabulous artwork that you've created all semester long. Okay, so let's come down here and we're going to do a box just like we've done in any other program. Okay, now we need to give that a color. So this is our fill color, this is our stroke color up here. Okay, the 1 point applies to the stroke. We do not need a stroke on this. So I'm going to say none, okay, and then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to create a new color, okay. So let's go to new color swatch, alright, and we're going to use RGB colors, okay, and I'm going to pick a kind of a neutral, not too dark, not too light kind of a color here. And we're going to roll on with this. Okay, so now we've got a reasonably neutral color. I think I might even dim this down a little bit more. Let's go to, what in the world view is this? Cancel. Let's see if we can tint this back. Let's make this a tint. Okay, so let's make this like 75%. All right, there we go. That's looking much better. If we wanted to, we can even give it a gradient, but I think I'm just going to keep with the flat background for right now. So let's keep moving. Pages. How can you add an automatic page thing? So I'm going to click my text tool here. I'm going to come up here under type. Under type, insert special character. Then we're going to come down to markers, and we're going to say current page number. And so it's going to give us an A. I will be using Century Gothic throughout this, so I'm going to click up here where I can change my fonts. I don't know if you know this, but if you type in just the first few letters, it will give you that. So let's make this Century Gothic regular. Okay, and we'll make this maybe 18 points or so. And then I'm going to pull this down just a wee bit. And right now, you can see that it is left justified. Okay, so let's give ourselves a title now. So I'm going to stay inside this little border here. I'm going to set my justification to center justified. Okay, I'm going to try and keep the number of fonts to a minimum. We don't want to distract people. So Century. We're going to make this bold. Okay, I'm going to even type the word title so I can see how it's going to look. Let's make this about 36 points. There we go. And then we'll put a subtitle if we need that. Subtitle, let's make this regular, not so bold. Make this about 24 points. There we go. So now we've got a page number. we've got a title area, which is going to be in exactly the same place for every single one. And then also in our master, if we're really slick, we can add a couple of things that'll make our lives much, much easier. I'm going to add my little icon down here. To get this, I'm going to hit Control D, which is going to place, see up here it says place. I'm going to place my file. When you're creating your artwork in Adobe Illustrator for either your splash page or your home page or your cover, whatever you want to call that, and your little icon, it's best to save that as an EPS. When you're in Illustrator, you'll just go to Save As, and instead of making it in Illustrator or a PDF, you'll make sure that it is an EPS. Okay, so here we go. So now, you'll notice that something weird's going on here. It doesn't look right. So let's come up to Object, Fitting, and we're going to fit the content proportionally, or we can do the Vulcan death grip of hitting Control-Alt-Shift-E. There we go. So now I've got a little bit of white that's showing around there, so let's come up, and I'm going to say Effects, same thing we've got in the other programs, Transparency, okay, and here I can set this for a multiply, okay. The reason I did that is because I didn't like the white that I had showing there, and the white got rid of that. So here, let's go back so you can see that little white halo that's around there. By making it a multiply, white does not show up. Same way that when you are making a screen, black will not show up, right? Okay, so we've got that. So now let's make an arrow. Okay, so I'm going to use the polygon tool here. Okay, and I'm going to come up here and I'm going to grab the white arrow, same as we might do in Illustrator. See how we can grab that? Okay, so now if I get the pen tool, I'm going to come here, I'm going to subtract a point. I think I'm going to subtract another and another. Alright, and let's come in here. I don't think I want a stroke on this, so I'm going to say none. And then let's make our icon. If you really didn't like that color there, you know what you can do? You can double click on it and we can change that. Okay, so let's see what we got now. Let's pull this back down a bit. Say okay, so now that's a little bit more in keeping with our color palette. I'm going to put the page arrows on the outside. Okay, so same thing with Illustrator. I'm going to Alt, Shift, and drag to copy that, and then I can just rotate that, pop that around here, and we've got that. So let's save this. I'm going to call this CE Port. I can spell Portfolio Demo. Okay, and we'll come back in another video and show you how to have some more fun. Okay.